Hello, dear students. Let's start new chapter Chemical Bonding and Molecular Structure. This is your chapter 4. All the points will come what we have to study in this chapter. I will like to mention what you won't have to study in this chapter. The reduced portion for this year. Number 1, calculation of lattice enthalpy and Born-Haber cycle. This has been reduced with this only resonance in simple inorganic molecules. Resonance in simple inorganic molecules like ozone, carbon dioxide, carbonate ion and nitrate ion. Only this much has been reduced for this year. Except this, all you have to study. So let's begin the chapter. You should know the question should arise, how do atoms combine to form molecules and why do atoms form bonds? A molecule will only be formed if it is more stable. Remember this, that a molecule will only be formed if it is more stable and has a lower energy than the individual atoms. To understand what is happening in terms of electronic structure, let's consider the group 18 elements. You can see group 18, your zero group, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These comprise of noble gases which are noteworthy for their chemical inertness. They all are inert. They are known as inert gas. And this group 18 is also known as zero group. Atoms of the noble gases do not normally react with any other atoms, and their molecules are monoatomic. That is, they contain only one atom. And the lack of reactivity is because the atoms already have a low energy and it cannot be lowered further by forming compounds. The lower energy of the noble gases is associated with their having a complete outer shell of electrons. This is often called a noble gas structure, and it is an exceptionally stable arrangement of electrons. Normally, only electrons in the outermost shell of an atom are involved in forming bonds, and by forming bonds, each atom acquires a stable electronic configuration. The most stable electronic arrangement is a noble gas structure, and many molecules have this arrangement. However, less stable arrangements than this are commonly attained by transition elements. Kozal and Levi's approach to bonding. What exactly this theory says? According to Kozal and Levi's, during the formation of a chemical bond, atoms combine together by gaining, losing, or sharing electrons in such a way that they acquire stable noble gas configuration. Let's see types of bonds. Atoms may attain a stable electronic configuration in three different ways, either by losing electrons, number 1, number 2, by gaining electrons, number 3, by sharing electrons. Only three possible ways are here. And elements may be divided into number 1, electropositive elements. Electropositive elements are what? Whose atoms give up one or more electrons fairly readily. That are electropositive elements. Number 2 is electronegative elements, which will accept electrons. And number 3 is elements which have little tendency to lose or gain electrons. Okay, and these three different types of bonds may be formed depending on the electropositive or electronegative character of the atoms involved. Now let's see the bonds. Ionic bond. How ionic bond will be formed? When there will be a electropositive element will combine with electronegative element. This will be your ionic bond. Okay, for ionic bond, we require electropositive and electronegative element. Next is your covalent bond. For this, what is required? Electronegative element will combine with electronegative element and your covalent bond will be formed. Third is your metallic bond. In this, electropositive element will combine with electropositive element and metallic bond will be formed. So I hope it is clear. For ionic bond, electropositive and electronegative element will combine. For covalent bond, electronegative will combine with electronegative element, and for metallic bond, electropositive element will combine with electropositive element. So you can see that ionic bonding involves the complete transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another. Covalent bonding involves the sharing of a pair of electrons between two atoms, and in metallic bonding, the valency electrons are free to move throughout the whole crystal. And these three types of bonds are idealized or extreme representations, and though one type generally predominates, in most substances the bond type is somewhere between these extreme forms. For example, lithium chloride is considered to be an ionic compound, but it is soluble in alcohol, which suggests that it also possesses a small amount of covalent character. Here a twist will be there. You will see that every ionic bond is having some covalent bond character, and every covalent bond will have some ionic characters. This we will study in the Fajans rule when we will move on to other topics. Before moving to see different types of bonding, let's understand what is Levi's structure. In this, pair of bonded electrons is by means of dash usually called a bond. This is bond, this is bond, this is bond. Lone pairs or non-bonded electrons are represented by dots. Electrons present in the last shell of atoms are called valence electrons, and this type of representation, when bond is there, we will give as a bond. When a lone pair of electrons is there, we will represent it by a pair of two dots. And for outermost shell, in N, suppose 5 electrons are there, so the outermost electrons of the shell will be represented by a dot. That only is your Levi's structure. Now let's see what is your ionic bonding. Actually, few bonds are purely ionic, covalent or metallic, and most are intermediate between the three main types and show some special properties of at least two and sometimes of all three types. For ionic bonds are formed when electropositive elements react with electronegative elements. This is clear. Now let's consider the ionic compound sodium chloride. A sodium atom has the electronic configuration. What will be the electronic configuration? Write it in your copy. Na11. Now you will not write 281. You have to write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. The first and second shells of electrons are full, but the third shell contains only one electron. This is clear from this configuration. When this atom reacts, it will do so in such a way that it attains a stable electron configuration. The noble gases have a stable electronic arrangement, and the nearest noble gas of sodium is neon. So what will be the configuration of neon? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Atomic number 10. So this will be the electronic configuration of neon. If the sodium atom can lose one electron from its outer shell, it will attain this configuration, and in doing so, the sodium acquires a net charge of positive 1 and is now called as sodium ion. And the positive charge arises because the nucleus contains 11 protons, each with a positive charge, but there are now only 10 electrons. Sodium atoms tend to lose an electron in this way when they are supplied with energy, and so sodium is an electropositive element. This is your sodium atom. It is losing an electron and becoming a sodium ion. Okay, this is a sodium. Now let's come to chlorine. Chlorine atoms have the electronic configuration. Let's write the electronic configuration of chlorine. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. 5, 6, 4, 10, 5, 17. Atomic number of chlorine is 17. So 17 electrons. This is the electronic configuration of chlorine, and they are you can see that they are only one electron short to the stable noble gas configuration of argon. What is the electronic configuration of argon? Let's write the configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Atomic number of chlorine is 17 and atomic number of argon is 18. So 3p6, and it is a stable one. And when chlorine atoms react, they gain an electron. Thus, chlorine is an electronegative element. This is chlorine atom. It is gaining an electron and it is giving chloride ion. Through gaining an electron, an electrically neutral chlorine atom becomes a chloride ion with a net charge of -1. When sodium and chlorine react together, the outer electron of the sodium atoms is transferred to the chlorine atoms to produce sodium ions and chloride ions. Electrostatic attraction between the positive and negative ions holds the ions together in a crystal lattice. The process is energetically favorable as both sorts of atoms attain the stable noble gas configuration and sodium chloride is formed readily. This may be illustrated by a Lewis diagram. See here, this is our Na atom, outermost shell containing one electron. This will combine with chlorine, which is having 7 electrons in the outermost shell. This is chloride ion. Okay, this many examples you have studied about it. I'll like you all to form calcium chloride like this only in your copy. Okay, let's proceed to covalent bonds. Covalent bonding. When two electronegative atoms react together, both atoms have a tendency to gain electrons, but neither atom has any tendency to lose electrons. In such cases, the atoms share electrons so as to attain a noble gas configuration. First, consider diagrammatically how two chlorine atoms react to form a chlorine molecule. Only I will show you the outer electrons in the diagram. Let's make chlorine molecule from chlorine atom. This is our chlorine atom. It will have 7 electrons in the outermost shell. This will react with other chlorine atom. Both are lagging in 1 electron to have a stable configuration. When they will combine, one electrons will be shared by both. Okay, this is your chlorine atoms and this is your chlorine molecule. This is Cl and this is Cl2. Each chlorine atom gives a share of one of its electron to the other atom. A pair of electrons is shared equally between both atoms, and each atom now has 8 electrons in its outermost shell, and it is a stable octet. The noble gas structure of argon. You can relate it with the noble gas argon structure. In this electron dot picture, or you can say Lewis structure, the shared electron pair is shown as two dots between the chlorine atoms, Cl dot dot Cl. In the valence bond representation, these dots are replaced by a line which is represented as a bond, Cl bond Cl. Okay, in a similar way, we can make other molecules also. You can make in your copy and practice for CCl4, carbon tetrachloride. You can draw ammonia and H2O and HF molecules by showing like this only. Now let's see what is coordinate bonds. A covalent bond results from the sharing of a pair of electrons between two atoms, where each atom contributes one electron to the bond. It is also possible to have an electron pair bond where both electrons originate from one atom and none from the other. Okay, for one bond, two electrons are required and two different atoms are giving their one electrons. Sometimes it will be possible that both the electrons will come only from one element. Such bonds are called coordinate bonds or dative bonds. Since in coordinate bonds, two electrons are shared by two atoms, they differ from normal covalent bonds only in the in the way they are formed. And once formed, they are identical to normal covalent bonds. Even though the ammonia molecule has a stable electronic configuration, it can react with a hydrogen ion by donating a share in the lone pair of electrons, forming the ammonium ion. Let's see the formation of ammonium ion. When you will draw ammonia, nitrogen and 3 hydrogen, this is ammonia. We will show the complete octet when ammonia is formed. Nitrogen is surrounded by 8 electrons and every hydrogen is having 2 electrons. So hydrogen is completing its duplet and nitrogen is completing its octet when this will combine with a hydrogen ion. Okay, and this can be shown by bonds also. Here I am making it. Covalent bonds are usually shown as straight lines joining the two atoms. And coordinate bonds are shown as arrows indicating which atom is donating the electrons. Here you can see that nitrogen is giving both the electrons to hydrogen. So with the arrow is coming from nitrogen to hydrogen. Okay, few other examples we can make for this. The reaction of ammonia with boron tetrafluoride. Now let's see the formation of double and triple bonds. Sometimes more than 2 electrons are shared between a pair of atoms. If 4 electrons are shared, then there are 2 bonds, and this arrangement is called a double bond. If 6 electrons are shared, then there are 3 bonds, and this is called a triple bond. Let's see the formation of ethene and ethine to show double and triple bond. For oxygen you can for double bond you can also show oxygen. Let's see ethene molecule. carbon, then 1, 2, 3, 4, nitrogen, this is ethene molecule. Let's see the formation of ethyne molecule. Carbon, nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, 6 electrons are remaining for completing the octet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. HC 1, 2, 3. Carbon, hydrogen. As you know that outermost shell of of carbon contains 4 electrons. One is being shared with hydrogen, 3 is remaining, and these 3 electrons are being shared by both the carbons and triple bond is being formed. So this was all about the ionic covalent and your coordinate bonds. For metallic bonds, you should know that metals are made up of positive ions packed together, usually in uh, one of the following type of arrangement. Number 1, either it can be cubic closed packed. Number 2, it can be hexagonal closed packed, or it can be body centered cubic. Okay, this was all about this different type of bonding. This you have already studied in your previous class, though it has been revised here. In my next lecture, I will proceed to next topic, that is your properties and factors governing necessary conditions for the formation of different types of bonds. Okay, that will be my next topic, and we can also discuss about covalency, variable covalency, and maximum covalency. Okay, thank you so much, children.